Adventure Time has been around for 18 years of sword-swinging, candy-eating, shape-shifting chaos. And if a show's around that long, you know it's going to look a little different along the way.
Those ninjas are stealing that old man's diamonds!
Give me back my diamonds!
I have to attend to this.
Fare thee well, Pin and Jake.
What time is it? Adventure time!
Remember when Finn was a tiny, noodle-armed kid with bug-out eyes, and Jake was like a bright yellow bowling ball with legs?
I'll never kidnap again.
Fast forward 8 seasons, and Finn's lines are so crisp they could cut glass, while Jake's gone from banana yellow to a mellow golden brown. The land of Ooo itself morphed from simple candy-colored backgrounds to richly detailed vistas, and that's the magic of it. Adventure Time didn't just change its animation, it evolved like one of its own weird monsters. And there's no better place to start than the chaotic little short that started it all, the 2007 Nicktoons pilot.
Your hat is stupid!
My hat is awesome!
A little history lesson for you. Way back in the distant year of 2007, an animator named Pendleton Ward was doodling weird little creatures at CalArts and dreaming up a world that didn't quite follow logic. One of those doodles was a human kid with a hat and a talking dog, and thus Adventure Time was born. The short first aired on Nickelodeon's Random Cartoons, where it instantly went viral. Back when viral meant your cousin sending you a 144p video over Bluetooth, but despite fans begging for more, Nickelodeon passed on it. Yeah, they said no to Adventure Time. Flop of the century, am I right?
Rough! Let's do it!
What time is it?
Adventure time!
Back then, Adventure Time wasn't even a show. Finn was Pen, Jake had a different voice, and the whole world looked like a hyperactive kid drew it on a sugar rush. The animation was rough, weirdly fluid, and kind of perfect in its imperfection. Like, the show didn't really know what it wanted to be yet, but it was having too much fun to care. Luckily, Cartoon Network saw the potential and picked it up. When the series finally premiered in 2010, it wasn't just a cartoon. It was a fever dream wrapped in candy-colored and mathematical catchphrases. Pendleton Ward and his team built an entire post-apocalyptic world out of weird logic, heart, and existential dread disguised as fun. When Adventure Time first kicked off, its animation was as goofy and squiggly as its humor. In Season 1, the outlines were loose, and the characters often went wildly off-model for the sake of a joke. Remember how Jake looked in those early episodes? He was almost banana yellow, a much brighter tint than later on.
Whoa! What the nuts happened here?
And Finn's expressions would stretch like taffy. Like that time he shouted, "Never!" And his whole face went rubbery and distorted.
Slay this ant!
Is it evil?
No, not good either. Will you slay it?
No!
Slay this unaligned ant!
Never. Never!
The squash and stretch cartooniness was dialed up to 11 back then, giving the first season a zany, anything-can-happen vibe. This early style made every movement feel a bit unpredictable. The lines even wobbled slightly, a charming side effect of hand-drawn frames, which fit the show's offbeat energy. Characters would occasionally go off proportion, like Finn's noodle arms flailing, or Jake shapeshifting into an absurd form with super wiggly outlines. It was all part of the fun. If you compare Season 1 to later seasons, you'll notice how loose everything was in those days. It's almost like the characters were figuring out their shapes as they went along.
I hope you grasp the full consequences of breaking promises.
I get to fight zombies, throw slumber parties, and reverse death itself.
Keep your promises, okay?
I will, princess.
But Adventure Time wouldn't stay in this wiggly world forever. Changes were already on the horizon in the next seasons. As the series went on, the core art style evolved. By Season 2 and 3, things had smoothed out just a bit. But don't worry, it was still plenty weird. The character designs became more consistent, and the line art got a touch cleaner and thicker. Jake, for example, mellowed from neon banana yellow to a slightly more subdued goldenrod hue by Season 3. Not drastically different, but noticeable if you look closely at early versus later episodes.
What are you cooking?
It's good, man. I learned it from Rainicorns.
Smells funny.
This took me like...
Let's go over to Tree Trunk's and get some apple pie.
But even as the baseline style got more polished, the show kept its elastic heart. Finn could still bulge his eyes out in shock or turn into a bizarre scribble during a gag. It was just a bit more on model now. This era proved that Adventure Time could grow visually without losing its whimsical style. And it set the stage for the intentional style shift shakeups that were about to begin. The first major, deliberate art style shift was right around the corner in Season 2, and it took our heroes somewhere totally unexpected, inside a video game. The first big style departure happened in Season 2's Guardian of Sunshine. In this episode, Finn and Jake get zapped into BMO's video game, and suddenly, the animation style does a complete 180.
We're in the game!
Look, there's the sunshine we gotta protect. And there's you.
I'm looking at my bits. My leg is math.
Our lovable duo, usually drawn in simple 2D lines, turned into 3D 8-bit video game characters. The world around them became a retro gaming landscape with chunky pixels and old-school arcade vibes. Finn and Jake's movements even had that choppy, early 3D game feel, like you were playing a vintage Nintendo platform.
What's that sound?
Sounds like
Bouncy bee!
Hi-ya! Oh!
This was Adventure Time's first, hold on, what am I looking at? Moment for a lot of us. One minute you're in Candy Kingdom, and the next, you're watching Finn and Jake battle monsters in a polygonal boss arena complete with pixel art explosions. It was a bold risk for a kids show in 2011 to suddenly drop a CG sequence like that, but it totally paid off. The scene is memorable and iconic. Guardians of Sunshine proved the show was willing to break its own visual rules for the sake of a cool homage. In this case, to classic video games. And it wouldn't be the last time the animators said, let's try something completely different here. Jump ahead to Season 5, and the overall look of Adventure Time had continued to level up. By this point, the show's primary art style was much more refined compared to Season 1. The lines were clean and confident, and the characters had settled into their designs. Finn's face was a bit more rounded and consistently drawn, and Jake's size and color were more standard, ripening to that nice orange yellow we recognize. The midpoint of Season 5 gave us A Glitch is a Glitch, an episode that threw the show's usual art style out the window intentionally. This was a guest animated episode by filmmaker David O'Reilly, and his vision was gloriously bizarre.
No! Jake, this isn't working. We need a plan.
Instead of the warm, rounded 2D drawings that we were used to, Finn and Jake appeared in a computer-generated nightmare. Everything was 3D modeled with a deliberately crude, chunky look and textures that felt like early 2000s internet art. Just recall, Princess Bubblegum's face made of realistic hair. Finn and Jake themselves became slightly blocky and shiny. They were rendered in an outdated video game engine.
I don't have the patience for this animation junk. Whoever does this must have no life whatsoever. Oof! Why did I do that?
The episode even played with glitch effects, as if the file of the cartoon itself was corrupted. At one point, Finn and PB fall apart into pixels and static. And the backgrounds? There were trippy, floating, geometric shapes everywhere, and a sky that looked like a Windows 95 screensaver gone wrong.
You should wash your hair.
You should wash your mouth.
For many fans, this episode was a total what did I just watch experience. Love it or hate it, A Glitch is a Glitch stands out as one of the boldest artistic experiments Adventure Time ever attempted. It proved that the show could hand the keys to a guest animator and drive straight into avant-garde territory. And amazingly, it wasn't even the last time Season 5 would toy with a new animation style. Later, Season 6 kept the tradition alive and well, delivering not one, but two guest animated style departures, each completely different from the other. First up is fan favorite Food Chain. This episode was helmed by Japanese animator Masaki Yuasa, known for his trippy, flowing animation in films and anime. And wow, did Yuasa's influence shine through.
You are trying to eat me.
Just following the law of nature. I just feel that way.
Food Chain basically turns Adventure Time into an artsy indie short for 11 minutes. The characters, while still recognizable as Finn and Jake, moved in an extremely fluid, elastic way, and the designs are exaggerated to fit Yuasa's surreal aesthetic. Just look at the sequence where Finn and Jake transform into birds and flutter through a psychedelic sky chasing insects as a part of the natural food chain. The colors pop in a wild kaleidoscope. The animation stretches and morphs crazily, and there are even moments of abstract, wild storytelling with almost no dialogue. Food Chain goes so far as to change the opening title sequence. It's sung in Japanese with a totally different animation style for that episode only, preparing us for the ride. Throughout the story, Finn and Jake cycle through being birds, then baby birds, then caterpillars, and beyond. Each stage depicted with imaginative visual flair. It's bright, it's weirdly educational, and it feels like Adventure Time through a funhouse mirror.
I'm thirsty. Hey, look. It's another caterpillar. Huh?
She's beautiful.
This kind of creative risk epitomizes why the show remains beloved. One week you get a typical Candy Kingdom romp, and the next you get a mini art film about the circle of life. Later in season 6, the show takes us in a different direction with Water Park Prank. This guest animated episode, created by artist David Ferguson, has a style that might remind you of a simple Flash cartoon or edgy web animation. The characters in Water Park Prank are drawn in an extremely simplified, angular way. Finn's eyes, for example, turn into little black dots, and his proportions are a bit stockier than usual. The movement relies on a lot of motion tweens, like the computer-assisted sliding of drawings, rather than the traditional frame-by-frame fluidity.
I've got the perfect tool for the job.
No, wait! Don't go in the water!
Oh! Why am I crying?
It's a tear toxin. Were you not listening?
The result is intentionally a bit jarring. Finn and Jake look like cutout puppets of themselves, and everything has a flatter feel. Check out the scene where they arrive at the water park in their swimsuits. Their shapes are blockier, and their faces almost look like a fan animation.
What's taking Finn so long? He's got 6 more minutes. You can't be expected to sit here all day waiting
Hey,
for...
Jake! Sorry I'm late. I had to go.
Thanks again, Finn. Bye.
No problem. See you later.
Not that that's a bad thing. The color palette and backgrounds in this episode also took a simpler turn, matching the style of Ferguson's own cartoons. It's a playful vibe, but definitely one of those times you go, wait, why do Finn and Jake seem off-model? Some fans were a bit thrown by it, but others appreciated the goofy change-up. And fun fact, Water Park Prank ended up being so distinct, the Adventure Time team later referenced its world in the Fionna and Cake spin-off. Yes, the multiverse is vast enough to include even flat Finn and Jake. Love it or not, this episode further proved that the show was never content to stay in one stylistic lane for too long. But if you thought 3D graphics or anime style were the craziest shifts Adventure Time would pull, Season 7 brought us something entirely new. That was stop-motion animation. The episode Bad Jubies is a marvel, transforming Finn and friends into physical puppets and clay models. Everything from Finn's hat to Jake's stretchy body to the literal grains of sand in the ground is real. Tangible material, animated frame by frame in the real world. The result is breathtaking.
Water butt. I am the water butt. Oops. Jake!
Hey there, buddy.
The characters are slightly redesigned to work as clay figures. Finn has a little round-headed doll look, but they still move in that Adventure Time way, only a bit jerkier, as is the charm of stop motion. The art style change here isn't just for a quick dream sequence or gag, it's the entire episode. Bad Jubies maintains the show's heart and humor. The story is about our heroes weathering an oncoming storm and learning to stay positive, but you almost forget to pay attention to the dialogue because the visuals are so unique.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate this crazy sweet sunset? When's the next time you're gonna see a sunset like this? Who knows how long we'll be down there?
Raindrops are cotton balls, lightning is a flashing light effect, and the evil storm cloud has this amazing handmade quality. This episode was crafted by guest animator Kirsten Lepore, and her team spent around a year meticulously crafting it. The payoff was huge. Bad Jubies won an Emmy Award for its art, and it's often cited as one of the most beautiful episodes in the series. It's a perfect example of how changing the animation medium can amplify the storytelling. Moving into Season 8, Adventure Time continued to toss in surprises. One of the neat style shifts comes in Beyond the Grotto. In this episode, Finn and Jake dive beneath the surface of a pond to chase a mysterious frog and end up in a trippy alternate world.
Whatever you do, don't touch the purple stuff!
What did she say? What happened to the pond?
When they emerge into this undersea realm, the familiar look of ooh is replaced by something out of a children's storybook or an indie comic. The characters become simplified, stretchy versions of themselves, with wiggly outlines and washed-out colors, as if it's drawn with markers that bled on wet paper. It's subtle, but instantly noticeable. Finn's face has a more blank, cartoony look, and Jake's eyes turn into little scribbles. Even the backgrounds look like watercolored blobs instead of the clean vectors we're used to.
Were we supposed to not do something with the purple things?
Take some for the road.
This style change actually plays into the plot, making the alternate dimension feel truly otherworldly. The animators didn't need to tell us via dialogue that things were off. The art did that on its own. Eventually, Finn and Jake would return above water, and the animation snaps back to normal, with a clear divide between the realms.
Let's go back for apricot pie.
Yeah, pie! And there was like a PB puddle.
It's a clever use of art style to differentiate story settings. Beyond the Grotto might not be as flashy as some guest animated episodes, but its muted, wobbly aesthetic was the perfect choice for creating an eerie, enchanted atmosphere. It shows that even a partial style change just for one portion of an episode can leave a strong impression. By the time we reach season 9, you might think Adventure Time had exhausted its bag of tricks. Nope, they had more. Catch Up is a season 9 gem that isn't animated by a different studio, but internally it contains multiple art styles as a part of its story. The premise has Bimo and Marceline hanging out and swapping imaginative stories. And you know what that means? Flashback sequences in wild new styles.
We sailed for 100 days. We landed on a small island. We were so tired from sailing, then the island started shaking.
Marceline is drawn with big, cute eyes and round forms, and the whole flashback has a rough, sketch-like texture that oozes nostalgia.
You don't need a pill to be chill. Go get tickled and do not kill.
My page!
It's incredibly sweet and stylistically distinct, and the perfect visual language for a sentimental tale. These back-to-back style shifts earned Catch Up a lot of love from fans, and even an animation award. It's a fantastic example of how Adventure Time could incorporate multiple art styles within a single episode to enhance storytelling. Each story Marceline and Bimo tells feels totally distinct visually, so you instantly know whose perspective it is and what tones they're going for. Later, Season 9 featured the late series episode Bananas. Interesting. While this one doesn't scream different style as loudly as the others, it's noteworthy for some meta art moments. In Bananas, Finn is writing his own story, with the famously misspelled title Bananas in place of Bananas. As he imagines scenes, the animation shifts to reflect Finn's DIY comic book drawings.
Der Witz und sie eine... PB's too smart. That's why she doesn't get my joke. It's funny. Hey, this isn't this isn't helping.
It's a brief, stylistic flourish, but it adds to the charm, making it feel like Finn's creative brain is literally coming to life on screen. Then, there was a Minecraft version of the show as well. While it's not part of the numbered seasons, we have to mention Diamonds and Lemons, the official Adventure Time Minecraft episode crossover. This episode is essentially one giant style change as it drops Finn and Jake into the world of Minecraft. The result? Everything and everyone is drawn in a blocky, pixelated style to match the Minecraft aesthetic.
Pie?
You won't believe what I went through to get this.
Finn's normally noodly arms become stiff rectangles. Jake turns into a squat cubic dog, and the trees and mountains of Ooh are made out of cubes and sharp angles. If you ever wanted to see what Tree Trunks or Bimo would ever look like as a 16-bit video game character, this episode for you.
Oh, blocks.
He's been at it all day.
I should help him.
All right, my ladies.
After this episode, Adventure Time wraps up its 10-season run with an emotional finale.
He was an amazing hero. Do you know about the Great Gum War? Get ready to have your hair blown back.
This largely returned to the standard style, although with beautiful, updated animation and epic visuals. But the spirit of experimentation didn't end there. In the following years, we saw Adventure Time Distant Lands specials and the Fionna and Cake spin-off, both of which catered towards the legacy of artistic playfulness. The Distant Lands episode Bimo opened with an anime-style intro featuring a silly robot bunny, a wink to fans that odd style shifts are still on the menu.
If anyone was offended by my actions, I am truly.
And in Fionna and Cake, different universes have different looks. One universe appears as a sketchy notebook doodle thanks to Prismo's imagination. And another episode features a glossy, high fantasy redesign of the Ice King that makes the whole world look like a storybook illustration.
What's happening? My magic, it's gone! Help me!
In general, the animation itself feels different. Everyone's a little more angular, the shading's heavier, and the movements are slower and more cinematic.
But for now, let us go!
The bubbly cartoon elasticity of old Ooh is gone, replaced by cleaner lines, richer lighting, and more grounded facial acting. Looking back, it's truly amazing how much Adventure Time was able to transform itself visually over the years. Whether it was a quick gag like Finn's face melting for a joke, or an entire episode in stop motion or CGI, the show constantly reminded us that animation is an art form with endless possibilities. But that's why we adore it. So next time you're rewatching Adventure Time and suddenly feel like you've fallen into a different cartoon, just smile and enjoy the ride.